Good morning, everybody. Today I have a regular at the ASTTG event, Karina. Karina, how you doing today?
Hi everyone. I'm really well, thank you.
Okay, many people may recognize you. You've done it sometimes remote, sometimes in person, and you have a fascinating story in which you present messages of presentations and for brands and for large companies in shapes. So tell me a little bit about how that came about and what the importance of having these shapes and designs in your brand for an Amazon seller.
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure, as always, to be working with you. How it all started. So I'll take that first chunk. So I come from communication and media background. Back in 2013, happened one of the first events where we actually applied live scribing at the time on large scale canvas. So the graphic facilitation, or if you call it scribing, has the purpose of connect people content more clearly and help to digest sometimes complex messages, sometimes the content that is being shared and is a little bit dry, just to make it easy to understand, right? Easy to understand and to make it more memorable. And the reason behind that is that we as human beings, we connect, a little bit more with visuals. It comes from advertising, marketing, movies. So our attention spans are very short these days. To get that, to stop that for a second and to get into our memory, it's not, words don't do enough, right? So sometimes a powerful image, the saying speaks 1,000 words. And yeah, that's probably the main purpose of having graphic recording. So two main values. The first one is it's a wow factor. So for the audience, they are seeing something entertaining. It's a wow factor because it's happening live. A lot of things have been done by computers nowadays, right? So just
Right.
seeing person is digesting information and creating metaphorical representation of the content in front of their eyes in real time is fascinating. But the most important thing probably is that content is the king, and every event organizer, every presenter has a story to tell and the key message to leave with end user. So once they leave the event, once they leave, the room after the speech, they're very clear on what the takeaways are. So we help to do that in a way.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, what you do is fascinating. Let me ask you this, because when COVID hit, I was thinking, okay, that's the end of events because people see you can do everything in Zoom. And it turned out it had the opposite effect, that the events became even more well attended after COVID. And what would you say the psychology is that I go to an event, forget about the networking, the food, I go to an event and I listen to a presentation, I would remember it better and it has more of an impact on me than if I watch the same exact thing on Zoom. Why?
I think it's the energy. It's the same. Would you rather be with your best friend in the same room and discuss it just, face to face next to each other? It's nice to have the call, like you still get to share the
Yeah.
message. But being in the same room, I think it's the energy. It's sometimes the eye contact, is sometimes like, sharing a story together, which will snap you out. You will laugh about something. Emotional connection is the key. And I think that's why when we gather together as a community, like no matter for what occasion, we just take away so much more,
Right.
in emotional sense. And that's what makes us to remember and engage more.
Right. Okay, so that's fascinating. Most of the audience what's going to watch this or attend the event are private label brands. How you've been an expert at creating, I've seen some of your work, incredible work for large brands, and to sort of pass along this consistent, neat message which makes you a customer want to buy it. Talk to me a little bit about the importance of it. Like, why would somebody people spend millions, right, on branding when you can go to Upwork for $200? Obviously it's not the same, but I'm saying, explain to me the impact and the importance of these little subtle messages in the branding.
Yeah, of course. Well, to start with, a lot of people mistaken a brand with a simple name and any picture that you put and call it a logo. For them, it's a brand, but the brand is so much more because it's all about the values. It's all about the audience that we are talking to and the product that we present them to. And it's the consistency and the trust that we want to build with. So if you're a trustable brand, people will come back. It's not only I'll try it once, but you will build a rapport and a relationship. And to do that, where the branding comes in is creating the image that actually in seconds represent the values, the audience that we want to talk to. And that's why we can see that the brand that is aimed at 13 years old, young people, is going to be completely different, that it's aimed at senior level, like, a luxury market. So it's different way we communicate, and it's hidden in the font, in the color, in the combination of all, in the shapes, in the form. Are we modern? Are we classy? Everything has a very subtle connotation for our, subconscious. So it's not that we consciously understand, but we will come to the shop and for some reason pick up this kind of, box, and we will be attracted to look at it, engage with that, and possibly buy it versus the other one.
Right. A lot of brands, Amazon brands, so it sort of starts off as an ad hoc in-home business, and then it just takes off. But then they're still stuck with like the old branding. So you have like the old small-time branding, and you're selling many millions of dollars a year. How do you deal with such a situation? You rebrand the whole thing? Like, what would you say? Because I know there are going to be people who are watching this who are in that situation.
Yeah, well, this is a very common situation, right? A startup will start off with something small, what they've got, sometimes at home, sometimes in a garage. And there is a point when they will either get a little bit more funding and they are ready for actually create a brand and, become visible as a professional. Some bits will take the process, right? We at least know the customer because we know who is coming back. Unless we want to reshape the customer base into the dream customer and we want to introduce something new, we work with what we have already. We look at different things. So it starts with market research. We have to do that. Then the image that we want to present, and that image consists of our brand values. So analyze that. We are looking at the trends, and then do we want to step with the trends completely? Is that the modern outlook that we want to represent, or are we like so classy no matter what is the product, right? It's the different values. So starting with analysis, and then slowly, possibly bit by bit, it's gonna happen like, rebranding. So we're talking about the logo, about the brand book, and then it's going to be applied to whatever assets we do need to apply it. Is that the box? Is that packaging, website, social media content? So everything will be built around that. But, the brand strategy comes first. Why? Why is this, not that? And then, it's shaped, and for the campaigns as well.
Right. So thank you very much. This was all quite fascinating. I'm going to put a link below this video if anybody wants to consult with you, or to rebrand, or to brand. And thank you so much. And I think the work you do for the events are incredible. Just keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.